Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Good evening.
We're back. Look at this. Yay.
Yes. Welcome. I can't talk yet. To episode 5 of series 3 of Comic Solving Problems, with the two of us as comedians who are back in lockdown and loving it. Solve all the world's problems that the world presents to us, that you present to us, and that we see on quite a regular basis. We've been doing this show for nearly a year now, and to date, we have successfully solved no problems. So don't expect solutions with this show. That's what the whole point of it is. Until we get out of lockdown, that's it. No problem solved. But we're going to be covering a couple different things. You can message us as we are going through the show if you want to send us a problem or just comment on something that we're talking about. You can add us on the Twitter feeds, which are labeled on the screen most of the time. You could be watching us on YouTube. That's probably the happiest place to watch us. And you can join the community there and chat amongst with us and amongst yourselves. And if you're watching on Facebook, they've got that handy share button. So you can share with people the fact that you are wasting time. I mean, enjoying the show as it occurs. And also thank you to those of you who pre-purchased tickets from Crack Comedy, who we partner with and have given us some time of your lives this evening. But if you haven't purchased a ticket and at any point we do tickle you, you can buy us a drink using the Ko-fi platform. It's buying us a coffee, so like £3 a person. That's good. You know, if you've been furloughed and are living large, go $3.50.
Yeah.
Spend a little. What else are you going to do with it? There's nowhere to go if you're in the UK. And yeah, that's basically it. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy.
I will say this: if things are a bit tight, I'm okay with just a double espresso. So
that's more, isn't it?
No, that's for like £2.10.
I can't even remember now.
God,
I've had two
remember those days?
coffees in the last year.
God. Crazy times.
Crazy times. But, Steve, you're going to problem solve for us first?
Yeah, I am going to ask the question, how do we solve the problem of people breaking the lockdown rules? And straight out of the trap, we need to work out that there are probably at least 2 different categories of rule breakers. Okay. So there's the very deliberate ones who turn up and they've already got their phone out to film, and they're freedom fighters, and they're turning up deliberately to stand too close to a member of the police, not wearing a face mask, saying things like, the government can't tell me what to do, and that's why I came here today, fully clothed, driving in an MOT'd car under the speed limit on the right side of the road. The government don't tell me what to do in my life. Freedom! So those absolute cockends let's not worry about those right now. I'm more concerned about the issue of people who break lockdown rules and try and come up with an excuse. We've seen a few of these in the news recently, and this one stood out. Dozens of lockdown fines, including a man on a 100-mile trip to McDonald's. And that just seems like a long shot to be a believable excuse. Oh, I had to travel 100 miles. What were you looking for? McDonald's. They're absolutely everywhere. Come on, mate. That is the worst excuse ever. I'm not saying that they're too ubiquitous, but I mean, we're in Gravesend here in this studio, and a couple of years ago on Parrock Street on the one-way system, there was a pothole that was so big they put a McDonald's in that. So they just flip and open up everything. Look, we all know that McDonald's are wont to sue, so I'm not going to say that McDonald's are absolutely everywhere. There are some places where you won't find a McDonald's, and interestingly, it's in Devizes, which is where this guy went to. Devizes doesn't have a McDonald's restaurant. So he went to Devizes to find a McDonald's. He managed to find one of the few places that doesn't have a McDonald's restaurant. And as a side note, people of Devizes, if you're watching this, how the hell do you cope?
Guys.
Without a McDonald's, where do you go to get obese and bad skin? That's where I go for mine anyway. So this guy went to visit the McDonald's of a town that doesn't have one whilst driving past literally hundreds of other McDonald's to get there. That would probably be the stupidest excuse for breaking lockdown rules. If it weren't for this one, which a version of it was sent to us by Chris, we can zoom in on the actual main story. Partygoers claimed that they had not heard of the pandemic. Well, it's a shame that no one mentioned it on the news every single goddamn day since March.
They clearly haven't watched this show.
Well, that's the most hurtful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Clearly they're not fans. Imagine. I mean, I actually feel sorry for them. If they've not heard of the pandemic, they must have had a very confusing, at 10 months. They must have spent every day going, it's quiet on the roads again. Yeah, it looks like the shops have shut early, and 60,000 people seem to be missing. So it's all very confusing. And imagine what these poor people must have felt like when a Thursday comes around, 8 o'clock, and Clap for Care has happened. They must have been walking down the street like this.
Oh my God, guys. That's too much. You shouldn't. Thank you.
Emotional for them. So look, so the problem is, how do we stop people being absolute cretins with their idiocy that means fewer people are in lockdown than they should be? Here's the solution. Absolute cretins with their idiocy that means that more people are in lockdown than should be. And that's where we go to this story of an Israeli man who was arrested for tricking his ex into quarantine 4 times.
What?
So he worked in the health ministry and just kept sending messages to make his ex lock down for another quarantine period. It's not funny, but it's funny. But
it's not funny.
It's not funny, is it? I mean, it's stalker behaviour, but also at the same time, you probably would, wouldn't you? I mean, there's a lockdown on, and you're bored, you're at work, you're working from home, you're like, it'd be funny just to make the ex lock down. But 4 times is taking the mickey a bit too much. I think that actually, as much as I feel sorry for his ex, I feel sorrier for his current partner, who I wonder if she's now thinking, every time I say that we're going to go and visit my in-laws, my parents, I get one of those letters telling me I might have the COVID. Oh, yep. I wonder what's happening with that. So that's the situation. I think I've managed to actually solve a problem. All you do is you get people like that to average out the idiots who let more people out of lockdown. I've actually flipping solved one for once.
Well, even a clock's right. Well, it depends on if it's a digital clock.
Yeah.
And you're on the military time, and that's confusing.
Yeah. I mean, that is a cracking move, though, isn't it? I've often said this when it comes to gigs. I've actually said this on stage in the gap in between the 2 lockdowns. I've said, like, in the old days of stand-up comedy, if the audience don't like you, they heckle. But these days, if they don't like you, they can just tell their phone that they've got COVID, and I'll have to stay at home for a fortnight. So the stakes are raised. There's going to be a lot of the abuse of that power going forwards, I think.
There was a lot. I mean, there was a lot of ideas about doing that. I think we talked about, calling up the Prime Minister and getting him locked down again.
Dominic Cummings. That was the plan, wasn't it? Like, Dominic Cummings. Yep. Spent all the time with him.
I do have to say, with the McDonald's driving 100 miles story, I mean, I think that is a unique story to the United Kingdom, not my homeland. And even we have some Canadian viewers, and they're people too. Driving 100 miles to do something, that's just what you do. You drive 100 miles, take a shit. I mean, you forget that if you drive 100 miles in the UK, depending on your starting point, you're going to end up in the sea. I mean, you got to be really careful which way you go, because you're never more than 70 miles from the sea at any one point in the United Kingdom. Just saying.
70 miles?
70 miles. Is that the furthest distance from any one point
Ashby de la Zouch
from the sea is 70 miles.
So there's a place in Derbyshire called Ashby de la Zouch, which is like the geometric mean, so it's the furthest point from the sea. And there's a song called Ashby de la Zouch by the Sea, that's brilliant. Loving their work.
I think that's an Otis Cannelloni joke.
No, it's an actual song. It's a song from the. Look at you thinking I'm nicking other people's jokes. It's definitely.
But it's reminding me of Otis's joke when we used to see other comedians do jokes, and Otis has a good line that's similar to that. I'm saying Otis has stolen it from the song. That's what I'm saying.
Well, normally, what's his name? Utah knows about old songs. You can Google it for us in the message boards. Ashby de la Zouch by the Sea. Which old artist did that? We'll find out by the end of the show, possibly.
So what else? We've got some people saying hello. Whole town. Jack has said a whole town left to their own devices without a McDonald's.
Oh, that's good. That's solid.
Should have thought of that, Steve.
Solid.
That's right up your.
And that's from Jack, who last time we did a show, he said, "I don't do jokes." Do you remember?
Jack, what are you doing? You're off brand.
No, he does jokes.
He's trying to get some of that Kofi money.
No McDonald's. I am just getting over there being no wimpy. There's no wimpy in devices. Well, these poor people. By the end of the show, should we do one of those like ITV2 appeals? Like, these people have to drive for over 100 miles to get a Big Mac.
I thought every county in the UK now had a McDonald's. Like, there was one that didn't, but I thought they sorted that out.
Rutland. Yeah, I think they've got one in Rutland now. And Wiltshire's definitely got some. So Devizes is in Wiltshire, and also in Wiltshire is Swindon. And they got a lot of McDonald's.
The whole town is one drive-through.
That's where most conceptions happen.
Mark has gone to my clock analogy and said a stopped analog clock is right twice a day. A stopped digital clock is blank.
All those when they break and they just show you all the 8s. That's never right. But it gives you something to aim for.
I like that. It's like the calculator boobs thing.
It's Stroud that's got no wimpy. Oh my, how do you cope?
I've never been a big wimpy fan.
Well, because normally there's a McDonald's.
Because Wimpy's the one you have to actually go in and order and sit down and they bring it to you like it's an actual restaurant, but it's not. It's a fast food joint pretending to be a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's too mixed. I don't like it.
Mark says Ashbidella by the Sea, released by the Merry Macs in 1946. That's how up to date my musical references are. 1946.
I mean, we were stuck in the 80s the last time we did a show. All right. Lynn has made it home for us. Yay. We're glad you made it home too, Lynn. We're glad you're safe, and we hope you had to drive at least 100 miles.
Pick up a McDonald's from Devizes on the way.
Right. We're fairly caught up on comments. We're gonna
we're doing well.
We can, if obviously, throw a drink in there or a McDonald's. If we get to go to McDonald's again someday, wouldn't even mind that, really. Anyway.
So, next problem. What are you going to solve?
Steve, how do you say goodbye to the greatest president that has ever lived? The greatest president in American history, the greatest president in the history of all of mankind, Steve.
Wow. You changed.
I mean, I've made some jokes about Donald Trump in the past, but you know what? I'm done with that now. He has been incredible for America. I wish he had not 4 more years. I wish he had 8 more years. And I know I sound like I'm changing my tune a little bit, but the thing is, he's got less than 24 hours left from the point that we're recording this show, and I'm kind of hoping for a last-minute pardon. I'm thinking if I don't do it now, I don't think I've done anything wrong that would be a federal crime, but he can write blanket pardons. I'm thinking I might want to try a little tax fraud.
Yeah.
Why not?
If you could get the pardon ahead of time and fill in the blank about which crime would you like to do. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, Steve, anything you want to go for while we're kissing up to the big guy?
I don't really know what federal crimes there are in America. I imagine bank robbery's got to be one of them, is it?
Cross state lines, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll do a bit of that. I'd love to cross state lines with a bag full of swag.
Okay, there we go. So, Donald, love you, babes.
Could I also get a pardon for being British? I imagine that don't go down too well over there. So, can you forgive
Unless
us
you're
for
Nigel
that war?
Farage. I think he's already got a pardon.
Right.
No, I don't think that Donald Trump is the greatest president. I just want to put that out there. There's going to be points where you're listening to this show today. If you just flip by, you're going to be like, what? No. So it is
take that clip and put it on the internet. Just that bit.
To be fair, just put it on Parler. Parler's back. Now the servers are hosted in Russia. Anyway, how do you say goodbye to the worst president ever? I thought, let's do something fun. He's going to be gone within the next 24 hours. Let's have a quiz to say goodbye to Donald Trump. We love a quiz on the show, don't we, Steve?
Yeah, quiz time. Boop,
All
boop.
right, quiz time. Boop, boop. We still have not made a jingle for that. Almost a year. Quiz time. Quiz time. All right, true or false, Steve? Are you ready?
Okay, always right. Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. These are a list of things that Trump may or may not have done over the last 4 years.
True.
Okay?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So, true or false, Steve? And if you're in the chat, you can jump in as well. Keep score. See how you're doing. See if you know these things. Did Trump, during his presidency, fondle another man's orb?
Wow. I mean, I feel like there's a phrase there: "Never rub another man's orb." Fondle. I would say no, because he's more. I know what he grabs. I don't know anything about him fondling.
I'm not going to say that.
Mark Randall in the comments says true. So.
Okay, Mark says true. Are you looking? Is that your phone a friend?
No, I'm
Steve?
still going to go false.
You're going to false? It was true, Steve. He did fondle another man's orb, which we can see right here. It was early on. There he is. Look at that. Melania's there watching. She always liked to watch. This was in Saudi Arabia, and they were there for some exhibition. And they were just, that's the Saudi orb.
Wow.
And look at the smile on his face.
He's happy,
Look at that.
yeah.
He's happy. He's like he's finally got something big in his hands.
I tell you why he's happy as well. Being uplit like that is the only way his eye colour matches the rest of his face.
Yeah, I gotta love being uplit when you got the chin problems that I identify with Donald on that one. So Steve, all right, you got the first one wrong.
Okay. I'll cope.
Look at Martin says we live in an Orwellian society. That's right, Martin. Okay, did Trump, while he was president, did he really just want to drive a fire truck?
That one surely must be true. Have we got any people are keeping score? A couple of other trues coming in. I reckon true.
That is true, Steve. We can see the proof of it here. I mean, I've never seen Trump happier, except for when he was getting spanked by a magazine with his face on it. He looks like he's getting spanked right there. He screams. If they had just left him in that truck the whole time and just let him drive around the White House and let Mike Pence, I mean, I don't like Mike Pence that much either, but at least he would have tried to be presidential. So much more could have been done. Wow. 400,000 Americans might still be alive.
So is he actually driving it, or is he pretending to drive it?
No, he's parked in front of the White House. They disabled the engine. Of course not.
So
let him.
If he's, what I don't get is, if he's pretending to drive that, why is he still having road rage?
He's just, I think he sat on the gear shift.
Wow. I mean, that's what's wrong with meep, 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 having fun rather than
should have just, you know what they should have done? Just release the parking brake and let him crash into a wall. He loves a wall.
You love that.
All right. Next question. Does Trump have a drinking problem? True or false?
Oh, I know that he is temperate, whatever it is, abstemious and a man of temperance. So I would say no, he does not.
That is incorrect. He does. It is true. He does have a drinking problem. And we have the proof right here. Look at that. Who drinks a glass of water like that? It is true that he doesn't drink alcohol. That's right, British people. He does all the crazy things he does, and he doesn't drink alcohol. If you didn't like him before, you definitely don't trust him now. He's famous for not being able to lift water to his lips. That's why he ate so many Big Macs and so on, is they would dip it in water beforehand, and that's often the only time he got water.
He looks like he's trying to do this.
Because he just wants things to make honking noises. That's why he loves the truck so much. That's why he loves Eric. Just smacks him. He just honks. Nice. There we go. You had that ready.
Musical.
We didn't plan this, guys.
I say ready. It's a little bit. Look at the flipping condensation.
Let's see you pick it up, Steve. Let's see.
Oh, pick it up to drink from it.
Yeah, have a drink, Steve.
No problem at all. You ready?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. It's harder than it looks, though.
Harder than it looks. Did you get that one right, or you got that one wrong? I've lost track.
Wrong.
Someone's keeping score?
They're keeping score. Don't worry. Mark's keeping score.
Did Trump try to grab the prime minister? True or false?
Well, let's do the maths on this one. Boris Johnson is a P word, so somehow, technically, yes.
He did, but it wasn't the prime minister you're thinking of. It's the time that he grabbed Theresa May's hand, which we can see here.
Oh,
and we were all just happy when that moment happened. He was walking down a ramp, which we know are his arch enemy, and he reached out and grabbed her hand, and we were all just happy that he didn't grab her in the no-no square.
Look how
they were like, oh no.
He missed. That's why she grabbed his hand, probably, just to intercept. Oh, but the tie and the dress kind of match, whatever that is. Yeah.
I think is that orange? Anyway, so yes, he did grab at a prime minister, but not Bori, unfortunately. And the final question in the quiz: did Donald Trump get upstaged once by a creepy, staring monster?
That's a difficult battle, because I imagine he could win that.
Or maybe a monster, creepy, staring, just something that was creepy and starey.
Yeah, it feels like it should be a yes, even if it's just those 1,000-yard stares that Melania always does when she's clearly thinking about escape. Maybe there was a time when that was like impressive.
Well, it's technically false because, as we can see here, it was actually two creepy, scary figures. You were right on the Melania, but you forgot about the Easter Bunny.
Look at that dead-eyed stare.
That's just the First Lady. Both of them. I mean, it was just, it's like Donnie Darko, isn't it?
Yeah, no one else
the
can
bunny?
see him. Brilliant. It's Donnie Darko the musical, because Trump looks like he's singing kind of "I wish I knew how it would feel to be free." He's got that kind of gospel vibe.
He's just showing, I don't have any water in my hands. That's his I don't have any water gesture.
Wow.
Now, the thing is, Steve, well done on the quiz. I think you lost.
Yeah.
Let's remember, though, Donald Trump is leaving. He's done some awful things, and truly, truly awful things. I mean, those are just some of the highlights of the dumb shit that he's done. He's done terrible things. They had the Muslim ban, which Joe Biden's going to overturn. He put children in cages. He oversaw 400,000 Americans dying from COVID. He made us, he encouraged a violent insurrection. He made us have to deal and see and listen to Eric and John Jr. So many awful things that this man has done over the last 4 years. But you know what? I forgive him.
Oh, that's very good of you.
Because you know why? He always held the line. And he never did this, Steve. Look at this last picture. Oh, the tan suit! Dear God, the inhumanity! How could he have done that?
You're harsh, man.
Everything that Trump has done is wiped away once they bring up the tan suit, which was officially the biggest controversy of Obama's entire presidency.
I can see it's impacted you a lot, yeah.
I'm not wearing one, am I? I had to burn all my tan suits after that.
No, you didn't. I know you too well to know that you've probably still got a tan suit somewhere.
Well, I outgrew them because but someday I'll be skinny again, and then I can't wear them because it'll bring back that painful memory.
Oh, damn it! Why did you do that?
So there you go, Donald Trump. We hardly knew you.
Yeah, probably true, because he's unfathomable. He won't go anywhere. Don't you worry. We'll still be able to do jokes about it when he'll have his own media network, and we can take clips from it and rip them apart on here. So stay tuned and get subscribed. That's what you've got to look forward to. Yay.
There we go. Well, while we were doing that carefully crafted bit,
Yeah.
Mark was looking up federal crimes that we could get pardoned for.
Okay.
And he's got some suggestions. So if you don't want to go for bank robbery or tax evasion, he suggested it is illegal to make crime to take home milk from a quarantined giraffe.
I mean, yeah, I'll have that. That sounds good.
Okay. Another one here that's an option. It's make it a crime to say something so annoying to someone that makes them hit you in the national forest. I'm not sure what he's doing now.
Yep.
Is he making up crimes?
I don't know.
I think he's suggesting we make federal crimes, but that's not how pardons work, Mark. I'm not sure where you're going.
Oh, yeah, that's so you can only be pardoned for a crime that exists. Or can you? Maybe you have that pardon. You can write in a crime on the form. So maybe this is what we're doing.
Because Trump can't make laws, but he can sign executive orders, which are not laws. So you could try and create a rule against something, but you don't get pardoned for that.
Oh.
So there you go.
He says, I have found some odd federal crimes. Yeah, there's no way they're real. Surely not. Although it's a federal crime to skydive while drunk. I mean,
that seems possible.
It's possible, but good luck trying to be the police catching that one.
So it's a crime to say something so annoying to someone that it makes them hit you in a national forest.
They're all genuine federal crimes, apparently, yeah.
God bless America.
Federal crime to harass a golfer in any national park.
That's one Trump definitely passed. That's true. You shouldn't harass these people and you shouldn't hit these people. What you should do is get your gun and shoot them.
Because it's America. It's the American way.
Yeah,
yeehaw.
That's perfectly acceptable.
Martin says, not quite panpipe, Steve. Oh, you having a go at my embouchure when I was doing the old blowing across the thing?
I think, considering we didn't plan that, it was very good.
It's musical. It's a bit of a one-note trick, but then so's the rest of what I do on this show.
Yep.
Chris wins, by the way, if you want to know the ultimate score of that.
Well done, Chris. The prize is the Ko-fi link. The YouTube link was on there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and also you can if you donate enough, we will send Chris a prize.
Okay, you could be in charge of that.
Yeah,
because I don't know. Right, are we on for another problem? I got a problem to solve. Actually, to be fair, this problem was been sent in. So I mean, thank you to Chris who sent in one of the headlines that I used in the last bit. And for this one, I got both. I mean, you sent me a copy of this story. I think Mark sent a copy. We've got an email as well from Philip, who says, I just love the fact that it was written in the subject field. Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina candle ignites UK home. And there's the link. And before we open it, I should point out, because there might be people who don't know what Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina candle is. And
that is, I feel for those people. I feel like they're safer.
I'm afraid I'm about to tell you what it is. It's not like an ear candle, which is like the thing that you roll up, stick in, set fire to it, and it draws the wax out. Oh, God. I mean, if that is what a vagina candle is, I might have either invented the best thing ever or just put us all off sex. We'll find out. But the actual story is this vagina candle, which is a candle that smells, well, it's the picture of it. Right? You can buy this on her website, on a Goop website.
Okay.
And it's a candle, and it says, this smells like my vagina. And I still insist that a lot of people are given a flack for this, but I think it's better than finding someone who's got a tattoo that says, my foos smells like a candle. Because, I mean, I don't even know what that'll be. Is that lavender and jasmine? It smells like someone's been stood outside it vaping. So there's a candle that smells like Gwyneth Paltrow's business. And, you know, it's just great publicity, and it gets all over the news, and well done to it. It's a beautiful piece of marketing. And it did mean that, you know, they're very popular. They've been bought all over the place. And this thing exploded. Now, I didn't read the full story to find out what kind of explosion we're talking about.
Right.
So I don't know if it was just kind of like a... and then... Oh, which would be bad, wouldn't it? Because a candle smelling like a vagina is one thing. But if you're like, oh, this jumper smells like a Nether's. It's, for some reason, that's worse, and I don't know why. Or maybe it was a bigger explosion. Maybe it did some proper damage to the house. In which case, I feel sorry for not only the woman who bought the candle. I feel sorry for the rescue dogs, who have to try and work out if there's still people in there, trying to gesture to its handler. There's definitely someone in there, and she's massive. Come on. But, so the candle explodes, you've got to be careful, and every single time we talk about Gwyneth's vagina candle on the show, I also point out I've got my own range, which you can get on eBay, and we've covered this before. This is my candle, and this one says, this smells like my ass cleft. Yeah. And this is also now having to be recalled for the same reason, because I'm afraid we can't guarantee that these won't explode. There is a chance that if you're burning one, you might ignite a gas pocket. And it's just the most disgraceful thing. State of that. Again, it's not far off, is it?
Might. That's not the cleft, Steve.
So yeah, do be careful out there if you have. What I wanted to finish this bit on was me say like that Gwyneth's vagina candle wrecked a home, and then I wanted to cut to like a clip of Chris Martin just going, but there's no clip out there available, so we'll just have to imagine that last bit.
You could have put on a shirt and like say Chris Martin singer.
Could have done.
Or you could have done one of your faces over, you know, you haven't done your face on something else for a while.
I've not, have I? Oh no. My God, I can't believe I didn't end up interviewing myself as a Gwyneth candle. Oh, next time one of those is in the news. Come on.
If you haven't watched before, go back to series 2 and 1. We did let Steve, especially go back to see the Dolly Parton song.
That's gross. My face, where Dolly Parton's face should be.
Sorry.
It's weird. Oh. It's erotic.
Gotta keep it down.
In all the wrong ways.
Yeah, definitely. I would rather have the ass cleft candle than have to see that again.
It's a little bit speckled.
Speckled ass cleft?
Some speckling around the top.
Wash.
It just burns off. Well, that was the point, wasn't it?
Yes. There's a question about it being available in pound shops.
Yeah.
I think the pound shops have been closed, haven't they? Didn't they go out of business?
They were put into hibernation, I think was the phrase. There was something like 44 of their stores were mothballed for a while, and they've got mothballs in there, so it works out well for them.
And we've been asked who will be the next Doctor Who. Steve, are you available?
Do you know what I am? I reckon I could do a good job of that. I'll have a crack at that.
Yeah. Because I've never watched any of it, but I'm sure I could do it.
You've never watched Doctor Who?
Well, I would like to, because I think my kids would like it. But where do I start? Do I have to go all the way back to like whenever it started in the
60s,
20s or whatever?
In the 1946 with their first episode, Ashbadellazoosh by the Sea. I think you can start from Christopher Eccleston. You can join in from the reboot.
Oh, right. Okay. He's the pouty one.
He was more dramatically, like his fear of the Daleks were very moving scenes. I think if you don't start there, then there are references back to Rose Tyler that you'll never quite get. But anything before that, you don't really need.
Like now, I don't understand.
Yeah.
David Tennant, I know who he is.
Well
he
done.
was the Doctor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was the guy that swears a lot.
Malcolm Tucker from The Thick of It. Yeah.
And then
you should start your kids off with The Thick of It.
Oh, they hear that every day. And then there's the Lady Doctor.
The Lady Doctor. Oh well, welcome to the one. Yeah, I think since the Lady Doctor came in, actually it's been called Nurse Who, but that's a small detail.
Doctor Who?
Doctor what now?
I'm here to see the Doctor. Oh boy.
We'll get cancelled for that, and yet somehow it's wrong to find it funny.
In order to be cancelled, Steve, we have to be noticed.
That's true. Can't cancel us.
Can't cancel us. Right. Subscribe. Ko-fi link. Mark has suggested that I start with the Christopher Eccleston as well. So thank you very much for that. Yeah. I've struggled as well with Star Trek because I've made my kids watch some of the original Star Trek because I want to get them on the movies. But do I make them watch all of the original series first? I don't really need to, probably.
There aren't that many, though. So I think you could get through the
seasons. It's 22 episodes. It's American seasons.
Yeah.
So it's like 22 episodes a season. It's a lot. Of
2 seasons.
They're an hour. They're like 50 minutes. They're long.
But so are all the episodes of absolutely everything else. So you try and start them on Next Generation and then get through the 7 series of that,
well,
and the 7
I'm skipping
of
all that stuff. Just the original cast. That's all I care about. You can start any time in Doctor Who as they keep forgetting their own canon and changing the rules, says Anthony. I figured this would get people wound up. Should we go back to making a cup of tea again, just to make more people hate me in the United Kingdom?
Yeah. Although Victoria says that we should be referring to her as Lady Doctress. That's what it is. Lady Doctress Who.
There we go.
That's the politically correct phrase.
Madam. Does that work? Okay. Should we do our final problem of this particular episode? Or
yeah, if you're done chucking money in the pot, then solve another problem. Go for it.
Yes, please do that. Steve, yesterday, because it's Tuesday that we're filming this, yesterday was Martin Luther King Day in the United States. It's a federal holiday where we remember Martin Luther King Jr. and all of his contribution to America and society and civil rights and all of those things. And here's a question for you, Steve. Mm-hmm. Here's a problem. How do you celebrate Martin Luther King Day during the last week of a Trump administration?
By delaying it a week.
What you do, Steve, is on the same day as Martin Luther King Day, you issue something called the 1776 report. You know about 1776, Steve?
Is it like Cronenberg? No, that's 1669.
American freedom. From you, people.
Why were you singing George Michael's Freedom? Because for a song that you probably don't know, you were pretty spot on.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Hey, even my singing is right once a series.
Like a stopwatch.
Like a stopwatch. Freedom. They issued this report called the 1776 report, Steve. And this report was to try and take back education from liberals who've been trying to destroy how we view America by bringing facts into history lessons. How dare they? Because the report talks about the fact that there's been a lot of effort to talk about the fact that, the founding fathers of the United States, those nice guys from Hamilton, some of them were slave owners. They owned a few slaves. And talk about that in an honest way, which shows that, these guys, they had their contradictions. They were people of their time. But no, that's what the liberals want you to think. They want you to know that these people were all bad, when really they were the people that were starting the greatest country ever in the history of mankind. And we need to remember that, Steve. So this report talks about that. Mm. Like, for example, here's the headline on how accurate they got it. Basically, it was considered a hack job, outright lies, and that's what the report concluded. It outraged historians, which basically sounds like Trump's presidency. in its totality.
Yeah.
To be fair.
It must be quite difficult to outrage a historian as well, because they don't seem to be...
They're not really...
I was just going to say they're the kind of people who have elbow pads, but I just realised this jacket also has elbow pads, so maybe I should just keep my face shut about mocking other people.
Keep your elbows down, Steve. Keep your elbows down during this next bit. Because they just, basically they're talking about in the 1776 report, the fact that, we got to talk about slavery in America, but then it talks about in the report, it says, those guys might have been slave owners and they might have not totally done away with slavery when they made America, but you know who else had slaves at the time? Lots of other people. So, it's okay.
I see. They're trying to excuse it like it was the 80s. Everyone was wearing those dresses. That kind of
exactly. Thing. It was kind of like the 1700s version of the bucket challenge. Everybody was doing it.
Right.
Except, back then the people were really kept in frozen conditions. And anyway, we don't want to talk about that because that's what this report is about, is covering up the bad things. Yep. And yes, in the original Constitution, they said that black people are only considered 3/5 a person. But that was, that wasn't a bad thing. That was just to keep the southern states from being considered too populous, and they would have taken over the entire government because there have been too many of them, right? And yes, they said they were 3/5 a person, but that's more than half a person.
I was wondering why they picked fifths. I was thinking, why on earth would they pick fifths? And you're right, it's just so you can just get over the line.
Half. So that's very humane, Steve. It's simple. It's just math.
Oh, that chestnut. You should get some more than one math in, and it might have helped.
Not maths. It was 3/5 math. And yes, this report that's supposed to be a basis for educators throughout the United States has no historical citations because history is based on feelings. And these people who wrote this report, they were starting to be made to feel bad for slavery. And no one wants to feel bad for something that they want to cover up.
Okay.
Now, the timing of this, releasing it on Martin Luther King Day. We all know that Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream. And that dream was that some orange-faced buffoon would step in one day and step on his special day, because that's all Martin Luther King cared about himself.
But to be fair, Martin Luther King would not have judged Donald Trump for the colour of his skin. Sadly, what he'd judge him by is far worse. Because Donald Trump's character is the problem here.
Yeah. And the other thing that's covered in the 1776 report is the fact that the civil rights movement that Martin Luther King, is the father of, or the patron saint of, or whatever the right term is, basically the civil rights movement has lost its way because all they care about now are groups having rights. La-dee-da. And you know what the groups they care about? They aren't white people, Steve. So they're just selfish groups. It's important to remember that.
Here's a question to you as an American. Why is there any debate about what gets taught in your history lessons? Just teach it all, because what's that, like an afternoon?
Well, actually, Steve, I happen to have the book right here.
A Story of America.
All the American history you need.
Yeah.
As it was written, given to me in 1984 by my father, when history stopped, when Ronald Reagan was president, and America was good.
I mean, just look at the width. Shows the width of that book. There it is. That's all of American history.
Right there.
Yeah.
And
mainly
you know how much
pictures.
Talk about the slavery in this?
Mainly
it gets a whole page.
There you go. It's covered in it.
Not like it's been covered up at all.
Didn't even get 3/5 of the book. Who'd have thought? Or even 2/5, just to make it under half.
Yep. But you know what the best thing about the 1776 report, Steve, and I got a copy of it right here, is basically the good thing about the copy is that if somebody starts to come to you with actual historical facts, you can just use it to hide behind. La, 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 I can't hear you talking about our complicated history. La, 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 la.
That's it.
La, 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 freedom.
I mean, it's really interesting writing to have on that book, though.
I wasn't going to hold it up that high. I forgot that it was writing on it. It's a prop. I don't actually have the report.
There we go.
It's actually the folder that has our new lease in it.
Which is actually, that's really what America is, isn't it? You're effectively leaseholders. It's not going well. Maybe you should revert back to the original owners, which is not definitely us. I'm talking proper original owners, because
freehold.
Yeah, the freehold.
So there you go. Want to know your history? Don't read the 17/6 report. Get yourself a copy of National Geographic's The Story of America.
And you're right, to be fair, it stops in 85, whatever. So actually, Volume 2 would be roughly the same size because you've had about the same amount of history since the mid 80s, haven't you? You're
I think
a
we've
new
had
nation.
the same amount of history in the last 4 years of Trump being president. Anyway, it's bullshit, and it's sad, and he's gone as of tomorrow.
Oh. And if you're watching this repeated, or you're on the YouTube version of it afterwards, too late. You missed him. Darn it. Darn it. Too late to get a pardon.
Too late.
Let's
For
have a
all
look.
those federal crimes.
Horror Channel show STO at 6 p.m. during the week. Star Trek Original. That's what you're saying. Currently followed by Enterprise. Even the cast of Enterprise forget that was a Star Trek thing.
Don't get Steve started on this.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love Quantum Leap. I've got nothing against Sam Beckett. Doctor Who, go back to 2005, but also go to the 70s and 80s for terrible sci-fi effects. Yeah, Sylvester McCoy. You've got to have a little whiff of Sylvester McCoy. Yeah, the best one is apparently Tom Baker. The worst one's Colin Baker, which is odd. The Baker's either end of the scale. It's bizarre. Your look is more geography teacher than historian, Steve. It's because of the elbow pads.
Yeah. So, well, that's to be fair. You do have a lot with back in the day when we were driving places, you and service stops. So
Yeah.
definitely doing the geography of.
I mentioned potholes on today's show, and potholing. That's what those geography teachers get up to, isn't it?
Potholing. I remember a little bit of potholing back in the day.
That might be a different thing. If you're thinking of motorway service areas, that's glory holing. And that's...
Oh, right. Sorry. Well, when I did it, I don't know what that means.
If you had to spelunk into it, then that's... No, I said spelunk.
Some people prepaid for this. We apologize.
It's been a long week.
It has been.
Shouldn't the cover be orange, says Mark, and Martin says orangism. The Trump's years. Those were the days. All over and done with now.
There we go. We're reaching the end of this episode. So a couple things before we let you go. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to catch up on past shows and little clips and things that we do. Follow us on the social medias. You can donate to the show if you'd like to, because we reinvest all the money that we get into the show, because part of that's eating and buying presents for our children, my children. You can buy presents for my children.
No, I definitely need the next bout of donation money to live off.
Yep. There we go.
It's fun times. So
it's reinvestment in ourselves.
Yeah.
And we do have a special announcement about Thursday's show.
We do, yes, because so we can't do a live one. So there's no show on Thursday, but instead of there being no show, there will be a pre-recorded little nugget of joy.
Yep, just a little nugget. So if you want to tune in for that, you can. But we do have a placeholder so you don't miss us, and then we'll be back live next Tuesday. So yeah. But if you want to find out why we're not here on Thursday, you have to watch on Thursday.
Oh, that's good. Tease them, get them hooked. A couple of more messages before we go, because Britt says elbow patches are great, but matching knee pads take it a step too far. How could you tell? Where are you watching this from? I knew I shouldn't have put that webcam down there. I don't know why I was told to do that by someone on email.
That's your OnlyFans page, isn't it?
That's They got side cam, and down there cam by that button.
What have you got in front of the side cam?
It's the thing just at the top of it. It's the thing that was my dab in my forehead thing. It just slightly reduces some of the light, because I didn't think I was going to use side cam today.
Looks like it's wearing a denim jacket.
Cool.
I'm working on side cam. That's coming soon.
Yeah, more details on that on Thursday. But I think we're up to date with. I just noticed. I think this might not have been from today's show, but let's have a look. Kirsty says PMSL. Pissed myself laughing, I believe.
Okay.
Stephen Allen, comedian. Basically, someone. Hang on. That's why we watched school bands. So I was in a school band, and Kirsty went to the same school as me. So I think we missed from a previous show someone from flipping back in my old days, back in
that's terrifying.
Sutton Centre.
Wow, I didn't. Did school up there.
Oh yeah, we were educated a little bit.
A little bit, not too much, just enough. Right. So there we go.
Brilliant. Share the thing, send some money, would be very much appreciated. Get it in your diary for a special treat on Thursday at 9 and then Tuesday at 9 for more of this lark. Sounds like a plan.
There we go. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.